Here are 3 techniques for having more ideas and becoming more creative. I've broken this video up into 2 parts. The first part is ideas, the second part is creativity. If you want to just skip straight ahead to the 3 hacks, then you can do that in the timestamps below. The ability to have ideas is what led us to creating fire, the invention of the wheel, and Battenberg. Part 1. Ideas. What is an idea? Well, if you type it into Google, the definition is a thought or suggestion as to a possible course of action. The Cambridge Dictionary, of course, defines an idea as an understanding, thought, or picture in your mind, a belief or opinion. So an idea happens inside our heads. Although we can get inspiration from outside, the idea itself happens in our brains. Neuroscientists actually discovered that ideas are formed in the brain's temporal area, on the side of the right neocortex. It's the same part of our brain which is responsible for abstract thinking, understanding of art, religion, and it's where metaphors are shaped. It's also closely connected to our subconscious. Now, although this is where ideas are formed, our brain as a whole works together to generate ideas. The moment a new idea is created, our brain reaches an intense gamma activity of 300 milliseconds. Whatever that means. But it's this gamma activity is the physical binding of neurons in our head. So while thinking of a particular problem, our brain essentially does an internal Google search. It finds all the relevant information we already have from our knowledge base and our experiences, and makes lots of different combinations until it finds a new idea. When this new idea is found, the neurons connect and weld together in a flash, and the new idea is born. For more information, you should check out Pedja at newcreativeyou.com. I put a link in the description below. So that's ideas. Now for the creative part. Google defines creativity as relating to or involving the use of the imagination or original ideas to create something. The Cambridge Dictionary says producing or using original and unusual ideas. So having ideas is something that happens exclusively in our heads. Being creative is the action we take following a new idea. So to be creative literally means to act on an idea which is new to us. I think the biggest barrier to being creative is the lack of freedom. We're all born creative. It's only when we go through school, upbringing and friendship groups that we start to get put inside boxes and given labels. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. This is how things should work, while we're slowly being robbed of thinking how things could be. For more information on this thinking, I can highly recommend Sir Ken Robinson's TED Talk in the description below. So creativity is like going to the gym. The more we train, the better we become. So now we know what an idea is and what it is to be creative. Here are the 3 proven hacks to supercharge your idea making and creativity. Hack number 1. Get a sheet of paper and draw an 8x8 grid on it. At the top, we need to fill in the parameters. So if we were to write a story for a movie, say, we could put main character, location, bad guy, problem, solution, big event, other characters, whatever you want. And then we start filling in all of those parameters underneath those columns. And then, believe it or not, once the grid is full, you'll have over 4,096 different possibilities. That's a staggering amount of ideas to come from one little 8x8 grid. Now some of these won't be suitable and some of them won't make any sense at all, but this one exercise generates literally thousands of different possible stories and ideas for you to choose from. Once you start seeing the connections and building all the different variations, your brain should naturally take over and start problem solving with other ideas. This method was created by an astrophysicist called Fritz Zwicky. He named it the Morphological Analysis. That sounds really complicated, but essentially all we're doing is an analog version of what our brain does, searching for multiple combinations until we find ones that could work and might fit. Hack number 2. 6 thinking hats. Since the Greeks, we've developed an A-B way of thinking. Person A has one view, person B has an opposite view. It's now the job of each person to convince each other that they're right and the other person is wrong. Now this is a great method for the legal system, the sciences, and maintaining the status quo. However, it doesn't account for the complexity of how we actually make decisions and how we really think. The 6 thinking hats is a great framework for getting everybody on the same page and thinking in the same direction. Imagine a group of people all discussing one problem. Somebody might be coming at it from a different angle to another and to another. This creates a clouded judgment in the group. The whole idea behind the 6 thinking hats is everybody thinks from the same direction at the same time. Hence the word parallel thinking. It gets everybody on the same page and you can assess it from every single angle together as a team. The idea is each hat has its own colour. white, red, green, yellow, black and blue, and each colour has its own mode of thinking. So now while we're wearing a specific colour hat, we can only think in those terms. So for example, while wearing the white hat, we can only talk about facts and figures. The red hat is for emotions, so we can talk about how we feel about something or our instincts. The green hat is for creativity, so we're trying to think of as many ideas to the solution. The yellow hat is about the values and the benefits that we gather from this initial idea. The black hat are the concerns and where things might go wrong, so they can be prevented later on. And the blue hat is the organisational hat. This one's used at the beginning, at the end of the process to see where we needed to go, and at the end we can summarise where we've been. By the time we get to the blue hat, it's generally obvious what the solution is or what the potential 3 or 4 solutions might be, or maybe many more. So to use this method we need to start with an idea, and then while wearing each hat create a list based on what the hat governs. By the end we use the blue hat to organise all of our lists, and it should be clear about what the pros and cons are for the idea. This process creates problems which can then later be solved. The more ideas we come up with, the more probability there is for solving potential problems, and then that generates more ideas. You can use this method either on your own or in a group. The beauty of using it on your own is by wearing a hat, it gives you the freedom, it gives you the permission to not judge your ideas and your first thoughts. So by wearing the red hat you can be genuine about your feelings, while wearing the green hat you can be as creative as you want. You can think about pros and cons and then organise it all together to create a final summary, and you can see boxed off all the different ideas and see where you might be able to go. By using it in a group, it stops people from judging each other and judging themselves, so everybody puts on the red hat, they can all express their feelings. Once that's out of the way, they can then start using the green and yellow hats to be creative and have the freedom to talk about different ideas that are coming up, the potential values. While wearing the black hat, everybody gets the chance to critique all the ideas that came up before it. So everybody's thinking in the same direction, looking for the negatives and the potential problems. It gives people the opportunity to be emotional and then takes them away from that emotion by wearing the other hats. It creates freedom among the group and a safe space for ideas. Essentially, you're turning creativity into a game. And hack number 3 is collaboration. Being able to talk to one or more people about your ideas is a fantastic way of bouncing ideas between people and using their pool of knowledge and their experiences in order to strengthen your own case. They can find other angles to look at things, maybe they find other positives, maybe they can find other negatives. It's all useful in creating ideas and becoming more creative yourself. By having other points of view, it only enriches your potential for your ideas. Even with this video, I collaborated with somebody else and had help with the title and the structure of this video. Shout out to Bav for her help. Thank you. The very act of talking about our ideas and our problems gives us the opportunity to solidify our ideas and organise them in our own mind. Once we start talking to somebody else, we start to find our own loopholes and our own problems that we start to solve in that conversation. It strengthens the ideas in our mind, organises them, and it gives us a better idea of our ideas. These are just a few tools that you can use to wake up your hidden creativity. Once you've done it enough times, you won't need to write anything down, draw special grids or wear imaginary hats. It will become second nature. You would have trained your brain to become more creative and generate better ideas. If you like this video, then give us a thumbs up. And if you think I missed out on any tools, methods or techniques for generating more ideas or becoming more creative, then let me know in the comments below. I've also made this playlist, so if you enjoyed this video, check out that playlist. Thanks for watching. Until next time, in a bit.